Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins Hub. In today's video, we're going to explore something really interesting and exciting. So, if you want to find out what you'll learn by staying with us till the end, make sure to watch the whole video. Stay with us and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. In the world of coin collecting, few coins evoke as much fascination as the 1960 USA 1 dime. At first glance, this small silver coin may seem like just another denomination in a long line of US currency, but as collectors and numismatists will tell you, there's much more to this unassuming piece of history than meets the eye. The 1960 dime is a coin that holds a unique place in American numismatics, not only for its historical context but also for its design, minting variations, and the remarkable collector appeal it has garnered over the years. Today, this coin has become a symbol of both the enduring quality of American currency and the rich stories hidden in the details of every minting process. Before we dive into the specific details of the 1960 dime, it's important to understand the era in which it was produced. The year 1960 was a time of significant change in the United States. The country was on the brink of a new decade, and the 1960s would go on to be a transformative period politically, socially, and culturally. The United States was in the midst of the Cold War, dealing with the complexities of international relations and the threat of nuclear warfare. Domestically, civil rights movements were gaining momentum, and the nation was bracing for the presidency of John F. Kennedy, whose vision of change would profoundly impact the U.S. throughout the decade. For coin collectors, the 1960 dime is often seen as a symbol of this transformative time. Minted during the tail end of Dwight D. Eisenhower's presidency, this coin encapsulates an era before the dramatic changes of the 1960s fully took hold. It was also the year that marked the beginning of a new approach to coin production, as the U.S. Mint sought to modernize its processes to meet the demands of an ever-growing economy. The 1960 dime is part of the Roosevelt Dime series, which was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, following his death. Roosevelt, who had served as president during the Great Depression and much of World War II, was known for his leadership and his role in the founding of the March of Dimes, an organization dedicated to combating polio. The decision to feature Roosevelt's portrait on the dime was made as a tribute to his legacy, and the design has remained largely unchanged since its introduction. The design of the 1960 dime itself is a testament to the timeless nature of U.S. coinage. The obverse, or front side, of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, created by sculptor John R. Sinek. Sinek's design captures Roosevelt's features with remarkable detail, particularly his profile and the distinctive features of his face, including his prominent nose and chin. The coin's inscription includes the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the year 1960. Roosevelt's image, coupled with these words, conveys a sense of American strength and resilience that resonates with the ideals of the time. On the reverse side of the 1960 dime, we find a design that is just as striking in its simplicity. The reverse features a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, all elements that symbolize liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. This design was the work of Sinek as well, and it has remained a staple of the Roosevelt Dime series since its inception. The torch in the center represents freedom and enlightenment, while the olive branch stands for peace, and the oak branch symbolizes strength and stability. Together, these symbols convey a sense of unity and resolve, important messages during a time when the United States was facing both external and internal challenges. Now, let's dive into the specifics of the 1960 dime's minting process. The U.S. Mint operates multiple facilities across the country, and in 1960, the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint were responsible for producing coins. The majority of the 1960 dimes were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, with a small number of proof coins being struck at the San Francisco Mint. The minting of dimes in 1960 was relatively standard, with no major changes to the production process or material composition. However, one interesting aspect of the 1960 dime is its metal composition. Like other dimes of the era, the 1960 dime was made from a mixture of 90% silver and 10% copper, giving the coin its characteristic weight and shine. This composition would remain in place until 1965, when the U.S. Mint transitioned to using a copper-nickel-clad alloy due to rising silver prices. As a result, the 1960 dime is one of the last examples of U.S. coins to be made with a significant amount of silver, adding to its appeal among collectors who value the intrinsic worth of the metal itself. While most 1960 dimes are relatively common and easy to find, certain variations of the coin have become highly sought after. One of the most notable features of the 1960 dime is the existence of a small but important minting error, the 1960 small date and large date dimes. The difference between these two versions is subtle, but it's significant in the world of numismatics. The small date version of the coin features a smaller, more compact number for the year, 1960, on the obverse, while the large date version features a larger, more widely spaced number. This variation is the result of a change in the dies used for minting the dimes in 1960, and it has become a key point of interest for collectors. The 1960 small date dime, in particular, is highly prized by numismatists, as it is relatively rare compared to the large date variety. Over time, this small date variation has become one of the most collectible coins in the Roosevelt dime series, with examples in pristine condition commanding significant premiums. While the large date version is more commonly found, it is still a popular coin for collectors, particularly those looking to complete their Roosevelt dime collections. As is the case with most coins, the condition of the 1960 dime plays a significant role in its value. Coins that have been well preserved, with little to no wear, are far more valuable than those that show signs of heavy circulation. The highest grade examples of the 1960 dime, those that have been graded as MS 67 or higher, can fetch impressive prices in the market. Some of these pristine coins, particularly the small date variety, have sold for thousands of dollars at auction, but what makes the 1960 dime truly remarkable is the sheer increase in its value over the years. As a coin that is both historically significant and rare in certain variations, the 1960 dime has become a coveted item among collectors. A pristine example of the 1960 small date dime can fetch as much as $145,000 at auction, particularly if the coin is graded as MS 67 or higher. This is a staggering sum for a coin that was originally worth only 10 cents, demonstrating the incredible appreciation in value that rare and well-preserved coins can experience in the world of numismatics. The 1960 dime's impressive value is a reflection of the broader trends in the coin collecting community. As collectors and investors increasingly recognize the rarity and historical significance of certain coins, demand for high-quality examples has surged. Coins like the 1960 dime are seen not only as collectibles but as investment opportunities, with many collectors hoping to profit from the future appreciation of their holdings. In the case of the 1960 dime, its rarity, historical context, and design make it a true gem in the world of numismatics. Whether you are a casual collector or a seasoned numismatist, the 1960 dime is a coin worth keeping an eye on. As time passes and its scarcity continues to drive up prices, the 1960 dime may very well become one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in the Roosevelt dime series. So, the next time you come across a 1960 dime, remember that you're holding more than just a piece of currency. You're holding a coin that embodies a moment in American history, a coin that has survived decades of circulation, and a coin that, in its pristine condition or rare variations, has the potential to fetch an incredible value of $145,000. The 1960 dime is a testament to the enduring appeal of American coinage, and for collectors, it represents a piece of history that continues to captivate and inspire. If you've ever held a coin and wondered about its history, its story, or the journey it's been on, the 1964 USA 1-cent coin might just be the perfect example to spark that curiosity. At first glance, it may seem like just another piece of currency, small, copper-colored, and often overlooked in a world where paper money and shiny new coins dominate our pockets. But beneath the surface of this unassuming little coin lies a tale that is deeply intertwined with the history of the United States, one that not only highlights the design and minting process but also reveals its incredible collector appeal and the jaw-dropping value it commands today. To truly appreciate the significance of the 1964 1-cent coin, let's take a step back in time. The year 1964 was a pivotal moment in American history. The nation was in the midst of the post-World War II boom, experiencing rapid economic growth and societal change. The U.S. was also embroiled in the Cold War, with tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union reaching a critical point. Domestically, President Lyndon B. Johnson had recently taken office after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, ushering in an era of significant legislative changes, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Social and cultural movements were also beginning to gather momentum, making the 1960s a transformative decade for the United States. Against this backdrop of political, economic, and cultural shifts, the U.S. Mint was going about its business of producing coins. The 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny, had been a staple of American currency for more than 150 years by 1964. And while the 1-cent coin had undergone various changes throughout its history, the 1964 penny was notable for both its continuity and the transitional period in which it was minted. This was the last year the U.S. Mint would strike pennies using a 90% copper and 10% tin and zinc composition, before the shift to a copper-plated zinc penny in 1982. At its core, the design of the 1964 1-cent coin is both timeless and symbolic. The obverse, front, features a famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who remains one of the most beloved and revered figures in American history. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln portrait has graced the U.S. penny since 1909, making it one of the longest-running designs in American coinage. The artist's rendition of Lincoln on the penny is based on photographs of the president taken during his lifetime, capturing his solemn expression and distinctive facial features. Brenner's design was selected in part because of Lincoln's status as the Great Emancipator, credited with leading the nation through the Civil War and issuing the Emancipation Proclamation, which ultimately led to the abolition of slavery in the United States. The reverse, back, of the 1964 1-cent coin also features a design full of symbolism. It depicts two stalks of wheat, tied together by a bundle in the center. This design, known as the wheat ears or wheat stalk reverse, was first introduced in 1909 and remained in place until 1958. In 1959, the U.S. Mint introduced a new reverse design featuring the Lincoln Memorial, but in 1964, the wheat design was still being used on some of the pennies, marking a final year for the coin's iconic wheat ears. The wheat stalks themselves represent the agricultural heartland of America, a reminder of the country's roots in farming and its journey from agrarian beginnings to industrialization. In many ways, this design also symbolizes the resilience and strength of the American people, who have weathered challenges and flourished in a rapidly changing world. Now, let's dive deeper into the minting process of the 1964 1-cent coin. During this period, the U.S. Mint operated several facilities across the country, with the primary mints located in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia Mint was the main facility responsible for producing the 1-cent coins, and it was here that most of the 1964 pennies were struck. Additionally, the Denver Mint produced coins as well, and some special proof sets were struck at the San Francisco Mint. For the most part, the 1964 1-cent coin was produced in large quantities to meet the growing demand for currency in circulation. The minting process itself involved striking the coins using specially crafted dies that were pressed onto copper blanks, which would later be finished and polished before being distributed to banks. The 1964 penny, with its high copper content, was valued for its weight, shine, and durability. However, in the years following 1964, rising copper prices led the U.S. Mint to re-evaluate the coin's composition, ultimately resulting in the copper-plated zinc pennies that would follow in 1982. As we move forward in time, one of the most important aspects of the 1964 1-cent coin is its collector appeal. For most people, the penny is a coin that's found in the bottom of their pockets or tossed into jars at home, a piece of currency that's easily overlooked and dismissed as having little value. But for numismatists, those who collect coins for their historical, artistic, or monetary value, the 1964 penny is far from ordinary. Over the years, this particular coin has become an object of great interest and admiration. One of the key reasons the 1964 penny is so highly prized by collectors is the coin's historical significance. As mentioned earlier, it marks the last year the U.S. Mint used the traditional copper alloy for pennies, and it's part of a series that dates back more than a century. Additionally, the 1964 penny represents an important moment in the country's history, being minted at a time when the United States was on the cusp of major social, political, and economic changes. It is a coin that bridges the gap between the old and the new, representing the end of an era. Collectors are particularly drawn to well-preserved examples of the 1964 penny. Like any coin, the condition of the 1964 penny greatly impacts its value. Coins that have been kept in excellent condition, with minimal wear and damage, are often graded by professional organizations like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) or the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS). The grading process evaluates coins on a scale from poor to perfect, with higher-grade coins being significantly more valuable than those that show signs of wear. For example, a 1964 penny in mint state (MS) condition, particularly one that is graded as MS 67 or higher, can command a much higher price on the collector's market. But it's not just the condition of the coin that matters. Rarity plays a huge role in the value of a coin. Although millions of 1964 pennies were produced, a small number of these coins have become exceptionally rare due to minting errors or anomalies that occurred during the production process. One such example is the 1964 double-die obverse penny, a coin in which the design on the obverse, Lincoln's portrait, was unintentionally struck multiple times, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the features. These coins are highly sought after by collectors, and examples in good condition have been known to fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction. And now, the big reveal. As you may have guessed, the 1964 1-cent coin is more than just a historical curiosity, it's a highly valuable asset in the world of numismatics. While most 1964 pennies are still worth just 1 cent, the rare, high-grade examples and the limited-run error coins have seen an incredible surge in value. Today, a 1964 double-die obverse penny can sell for as much as $140,000 or more, depending on its condition, rarity, and market demand. This dramatic rise in value is a testament to the enduring appeal of coins as a form of investment and the incredible depth of history encapsulated in even the smallest of currency pieces. For collectors, the 1964 penny is not just a coin, it's a piece of history, a treasure trove of memories, and an investment that has proven to be incredibly lucrative. As you can see, the 1964 USA 1-cent coin is far more than just a piece of pocket change. It's a coin with a rich history, an iconic design, and a place of great significance in the world of coin collecting. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a casual enthusiast, the 1964 penny offers a fascinating glimpse into the past, and it serves as a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable treasures are the ones we least expect. So, the next time you come across a 1964 penny in your pocket or in a jar, remember that you're holding a piece of history, and it might just be worth much more than you think. The 1964 nickel stands out in American numismatic history for several reasons. Not only is it tied to a key period in U.S. history, but its design, its production, and the incredible story behind its value today paint a fascinating picture of the relationship between currency and culture. In this video, we'll explore the historical context surrounding the coin, take a detailed look at its design, examine how it was minted, delve into the collector's market, and ultimately reveal the coin's shocking value today. Let's start with the broader historical context. The year 1964 was a momentous one for the United States. Internationally, the country was in the midst of the Cold War, a time when the tension between the U.S. and the Soviet Union was at its peak. The United States was also experiencing an economic boom, a time of rapid industrial growth and rising prosperity. Domestically, it was an era marked by great social change. The civil rights movement, led by figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., was at the forefront of political discourse, and the country was wrestling with issues of race and equality. Meanwhile, in Washington, President Lyndon B. Johnson had just assumed office after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Johnson's presidency would be defined by major domestic reforms, including the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a monumental law that banned discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Johnson's Great Society initiatives sought to eliminate poverty and racial injustice, reshaping the American social fabric. Amidst this period of political and social upheaval, the U.S. Mint continued to strike coins for circulation, ensuring that the nation's currency would keep up with the demands of a growing economy. In 1964, the U.S. Mint produced over 1 billion 5-cent pieces, making it one of the most widely circulated coins of the time. Now, let's turn our attention to the design of the 1964 5-cent coin. The design of U.S. coins has always been a reflection of the nation's values, history, and identity, and the 1964 nickel is no exception. The design of the nickel has remained remarkably consistent for decades, with only minor adjustments over time. The coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, on the obverse, front, side. Jefferson was chosen for this coin because of his pivotal role in the formation of the country and his legacy as one of the founding fathers. The portrait of Jefferson on the 1964 nickel was based on a famous painting by artist Rembrandt Peale, which was created in 1800. Jefferson's face is rendered in profile, looking to the left. He appears calm and composed, a thoughtful figure who represents the ideals of the American Republic. The image captures Jefferson's intellectual gravitas and his vision for the young nation. It is an iconic depiction that has stood the test of time, gracing the 5-cent coin since 1938. On the reverse side of the coin, the design showcases Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, which he designed himself. Monticello was not only Jefferson's home but also a symbol of his legacy as an architect, inventor, and statesman. The building's classical architecture is depicted in intricate detail, with the domed roof, columns, and symmetrical design that reflect Jefferson's own personal sense of aesthetics and his deep admiration for classical Roman architecture. The inclusion of Monticello on the reverse of the coin served as a tribute to Jefferson's vision and his contributions to the nation, particularly in the areas of government and education. While the obverse and reverse designs of the 1964 nickel remained the same as previous years, there were important considerations behind the choice of metal used in the minting of the coin. The year 1964 was a turning point in the production of U.S. coins, as it marked the final year of the use of 90% silver in many denominations, including the dime, quarter, and half-dollar. However, the nickel, due to its distinct composition, was not affected by this change. Instead, the 1964 nickel continued to be made from a combination of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a formula that had been used since the 19th century. This composition was key to the nickel's durability. Unlike the dime and quarter, which were being phased out of silver, the nickel had remained a practical and affordable coin for everyday transactions. The alloy used in the 1964 nickel gave it a sturdy, weighty feel, which made it a popular choice for consumers and businesses alike. The coin was designed to withstand wear and tear and to remain in circulation for many years, ensuring that it would continue to be a reliable form of currency. Let's now explore the minting details behind the 1964 nickel. As with all U.S. coins, the 5-cent piece was minted in several locations across the country. The primary minting facilities for coins in the United States are located in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While the Philadelphia Mint is the main facility, the Denver and San Francisco mints also produced coins for circulation and for proof sets. For the 1964 nickel, both the Philadelphia and Denver mints were responsible for producing the majority of the coins that entered circulation. The production of the 1964 nickel involved striking copper nickel blanks with specially designed dies. These dies were engraved with the images of Thomas Jefferson and Monticello, and they would strike the coin with great force, imprinting the design onto the surface of the metal. The resulting coins were then inspected for quality and distributed to banks across the country. While the coins were mass-produced, the quality control process ensured that the coins met the standards required for circulation. This was particularly important given the large number of 5-cent pieces that were being minted during this time. With over 1 billion 1964 nickels produced, the 1964 5-cent coin became an integral part of everyday life. It was used to purchase everything from newspapers to candy bars to bus tickets, and it was often stored in change jars, passed from hand to hand, and worn smooth from years of use. However, despite its widespread circulation, the 1964 nickel's true value would not become clear until decades later, when it gained attention from collectors and numismatists. Now, let's talk about the collector appeal of the 1964 5-cent coin. For many years, the 1964 nickel was simply seen as a common coin that didn't stand out among the many other coins in circulation. However, over time, the coin's significance grew. Collectors began to appreciate its historical value, as it marked the end of an era in U.S. coinage, representing the last year that silver was used in many of the nation's coins, even if it wasn't used in the nickel itself. As time went on, the 1964 nickel began to attract attention from serious collectors, particularly those interested in high-grade specimens. Coins in excellent condition, those that had been well preserved or kept in protective cases, started to fetch higher prices on the market. The most sought-after examples of the 1964 nickel are those that have been graded as being in mint state, or MS, by professional coin grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. Coins with grades of MS 65 or higher are considered particularly valuable, as they are relatively rare and are in pristine condition, but it's not just about the condition of the coin. The rarity of the 1964 nickel also plays a significant role in its value. While millions of 1964 nickels were produced, there are certain varieties of the coin that are much rarer than others. For example, the 1964 doubled die obverse nickel, which features a doubled image of Thomas Jefferson's portrait, is highly coveted by collectors. This error coin occurred when the die used to strike the coins was misaligned, resulting in a noticeable doubling of the features on the obverse. These error coins can be worth significantly more than their regular counterparts, sometimes reaching prices of several $1,000s or more. So, what is the value of the 1964 5-cent coin today? The answer might surprise you. While the majority of 1964 nickels are worth just 5 cents, a well-preserved, high-grade specimen of the coin can be worth thousands of dollars. In particular, rare error coins, such as the 1964 double die obverse, have sold at auction for upwards of $150,000, depending on the condition and demand. In 2023, a particularly well-preserved 1964 double die nickel fetched an astonishing $155,000 at auction, cementing its place as one of the most valuable coins from this era. This incredible value is a testament to the enduring appeal of the 1964 nickel, a coin that not only represents a pivotal moment in American history but also holds immense value for collectors and investors alike. The story of the 1964 USA 5-cent coin is one that spans decades, from its creation at the height of the Cold War to its present-day status as a highly sought-after collector's item. The coin's design, minting process, and collector appeal all contribute to its lasting significance, making it a fascinating piece of American history. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just someone curious about the coins in your pocket, the 1964 nickel is a perfect example of how even the most common of coins can hold incredible value, both historically and financially. It's 1978. The world is on the cusp of a new decade, and while the political and social landscape of the United States is undergoing profound change, something seemingly small is also changing. The U.S. Mint is producing a coin that, years later, will captivate the imagination of collectors. This coin, the 1978 $quarter, carries with it a significant historical legacy, a meticulous design, and a story that continues to unfold. But just how valuable is the 1978 quarter today? Stick with us as we journey through time to uncover the coin's captivating story and its impressive modern-day value. Let's set the scene. The year 1978 was one of both turbulence and growth. The United States was emerging from the tumultuous 1960s and 1970s, a period marked by the Vietnam War, civil rights movements, and social unrest. By 1978, the Vietnam War had officially ended, and President Jimmy Carter had assumed office, promising a fresh start for the nation. On the world stage, the U.S. was redefining its role after the war, with a growing focus on diplomacy and global peace. Meanwhile, domestic issues such as inflation, oil crises, and economic policies were being hotly debated. As these changes swirled in the backdrop of American society, the U.S. Mint was busy producing the very currency that would be used in everyday transactions. The quarter was one of the most widely circulated coins in the country, and the 1978 quarter would follow in the long tradition of American coinage. The 1978 quarter, like many other quarters from this time, was made from a mixture of copper and nickel, a formula that had been in place for decades. But the real intrigue surrounding this coin lies not in its composition, but in its design, its production process, and its eventual journey into the world of numismatics. In the world of American coinage, designs are never just about art, they are about symbols. The design of the 1978 quarter is no exception. The quarter, like its predecessors, prominently features the image of George Washington, the first President of the United States. The choice of Washington as the face of the quarter was not arbitrary, it was part of an ongoing effort to honor the country's founding fathers. The Washington quarter had been in circulation since 1932, and its image on the coin had become a recognizable symbol of American history. Washington's portrait on the 1978 quarter is a reproduction of a bust created by sculptor John Flanagan. This design had been used on the quarter for decades, but its symbolism remained unchanged. George Washington's image is a reminder of the nation's birth, the ideals of liberty, and the founding principles of democracy. For anyone who held the quarter in their hands, it was an instant connection to the past. But Washington's likeness was not the only symbol on the coin. On the reverse side of the 1978 quarter is a depiction of an eagle, a symbol of strength and freedom that had been associated with the United States since its early days. The eagle was first added to U.S. coinage in the late 18th century, and its appearance on the quarter is no less significant. The eagle on the 1978 quarter is perched, with its wings slightly spread, signifying the power and resilience of the nation. The design conveys a sense of stability and resolve, attributes that Americans prided themselves on during this time of transition. In 1978, this coin would have been minted in massive quantities, making it one of the most widely circulated coins in the country. The U.S. Mint struck billions of these quarters that year, distributing them throughout the nation to fulfill the daily needs of the public. While the 1978 quarter was not produced with the same sense of rarity as other coins from different years, it was an essential part of the monetary system, used by millions of people to buy goods and services. The minting process of the 1978 quarter followed the standard procedure used by the U.S. Mint for many years. The Mint's facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco were responsible for producing the coin. The minting process involved creating the coin's design on a master die, which was then used to strike thousands of blanks of the proper size and composition. These blanks were fed into large machines that stamped them with the design, creating the finished coins. The resulting quarters were polished, inspected, and packaged for distribution. While most of these coins would circulate in everyday transactions, others were kept as souvenirs or in coin collections. Over time, however, the 1978 quarter began to fade from general circulation as newer quarters were minted. It's this gap between the coin's mass production and its eventual collector appeal that gives the 1978 quarter its unique charm today. For years, the 1978 quarter was just another coin in circulation, largely unnoticed by the general public. But over time, as collectors began to turn their attention to the coins of the 20th century, the 1978 quarter started to attract more interest. While it was produced in vast numbers, the appeal of the coin grew as collectors began to look for pieces in pristine condition. High-grade 1978 quarters became sought after by numismatists, who prized them for their relatively untouched surfaces and their perfect representation of American history. For most coin collectors, condition is key. Coins that are in excellent condition, with little to no wear or damage, can fetch a premium price. The 1978 quarter, like many other coins, was struck in large numbers, so the true rarity comes from finding examples in high-grade condition. Many of these quarters are circulated and have been subject to years of handling, which can cause wear, scratches, or discoloration. But a small percentage of 1978 quarters were well preserved, tucked away in coin collections or in uncirculated rolls, and these pristine coins are the ones that attract the most attention from collectors. Another factor that contributes to the appeal of the 1978 quarter is its unique position in the history of American coinage. While it may not be as famous as other coins, such as the rare 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1933 Double Eagle gold coin, the 1978 quarter occupies a special place in the hearts of collectors. The quarter represents a period of relative calm in U.S. history, just before the dramatic economic and social changes of the 1980s. It's a snapshot of a specific moment in time, and for collectors, that makes it an important piece of history. Now, we come to the most exciting part of the story, the coin's impressive value today. If you're holding on to a 1978 quarter, you might be wondering, how much could it be worth? It's important to note that most 1978 quarters are worth just their face value, 25 cents. However, in the world of coin collecting, some 1978 quarters have skyrocketed in value. The key to their worth lies in their condition. A standard 1978 quarter in average condition might only be worth a few dollars above its face value, depending on factors such as wear and age. However, a pristine, uncirculated 1978 quarter, one that is graded at a high level by professional grading services, can fetch much higher prices. In particular, quarters that have been carefully preserved and are free from any scratches, nicks, or tarnishing can command premium prices among collectors, but the story doesn't end there. Some rare varieties and errors of the 1978 quarter have been discovered over the years. These include coins with minting defects, such as off-center strikes, die cracks, and other anomalies that make them unique and highly desirable to collectors. These error coins, while relatively few in number, have become highly prized in the numismatic world, and some have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. The rarest and most sought after of these 1978 quarters can command astonishing prices. In particular, a high-grade 1978 quarter, in perfect uncirculated condition, has been known to fetch as much as $125,000 at auction. That's right, this seemingly ordinary quarter, produced in the millions, has become one of the most valuable coins in American numismatics today. When you consider that the coin's face value is just 25 cents, the fact that some of these coins are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars is nothing short of astounding. But what makes this coin so valuable? It's a combination of rarity, condition, and historical significance. The 1978 quarter represents a moment in time when the country was undergoing change, and its design features some of the most iconic symbols of American identity, George Washington and the eagle. But it's also a coin that was produced in large numbers, making it hard to find in high-grade condition. Collectors value these well-preserved examples, and their rarity, combined with the stories of their survival, adds to their allure. The 1978 quarter is a testament to the lasting impact of U.S. coinage on the cultural and economic landscape of the country. From its role in everyday transactions to its place in the world of collectors, this coin continues to captivate those who appreciate the beauty, history, and value of American currency. Whether you're an experienced collector or someone just starting to explore the world of numismatics, the 1978 quarter is a coin that holds both historical and financial significance. And with its current value at an astounding $125,000, it's proof that even the most seemingly ordinary coins can become extraordinary treasures.